on our top 10 wing list for like the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
Let's talk Samboners, shall we?
Absolutely,
Please.
man.
All right. So
Take a look, take a bite, baby.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll tee it up for those that might not know who you are. Mick McKenzie here. Founder or co-founder of Samboners?
Co-founder.
Co-founder of Samboners. You're known locally as a food review aficionado. You've got a very popular channel. And as you started to tee up, you guys tend to do a lot of these series-based content. And you told me at the bar a little while ago that you started about 5-6 years ago. So how'd you get into this in the first place? What was the inspiration?
Yeah, so honestly, the inspiration, I guess it stems from, you know, 6 of my best friends growing up.
Yeah.
We all played Little League football together. My brother's one of the older ones, but he was kind of like our dad in the mix. Like, he's just the guy we looked up to.
Bought you beer the first time?
Yeah. Well, you know, and he's kind of like the big brother to all and the other 5 of us are all the same age. So like, we're 46 and he's 51.
Yeah.
But we're not counting ages at this point, right?
Yeah.
We're in our mid-40s. We're all going to die.
Sure, yeah. Stop counting.
But these are some of the best friends I've had for years and years. Like, I grew up, you know, playing like stickball with and like wiffle ball with as kids, like roaming around the streets, riding bikes, rollerblades, whatever.
Good old
days. And
days.
then, you know, you become kind of like, you get out of college and you get into that workspace and you just start to kind of tie yourself into these friends. But unfortunately, it's all through like text. Like, you know, your relationships start to turn into these like text groups because you're working so hard, you don't really get a chance to hang out with them as much anymore.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know, so we've had this text thread amongst the 6 of us for God knows how far back. I'd say 15, 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Where it got to a point where we were talking about food and just sports and just like gambling and just like the birds and the Phils and just dudes, dude. Like, just
class.
Total misfits, just wanting to like wreak havoc on meaningless shit. But like, we enjoyed it. We loved like talking about like, you know, Joe, where'd you go to lunch? And he talked about this bar he went to and he got this burger, and he would talk about it and we would like embrace like why it was good and like, was it better than this place? And what was the bar all about? So like, this banter just like constantly would always evolve throughout these text conversations until back in like 2019, we started to kind of get the idea of maybe like, my cousin Kevin said at first, like, maybe we should put some video behind these conversations. Like, what do you mean? Like, video? We're fat, man. We can't be getting on video. Like, I had like 3 chins at the time. I'm like, no way. But we were like talking like, well, look around, like look around the Instagram, look around Facebook. Like, nobody's actually reviewing food, cheesesteaks specifically. Like, you know, we are in the sandwich capital of the world, Philadelphia, even South Jersey a little bit, where nobody was out there reviewing cheesesteaks, but like getting like the full like frontage of the place, like getting the signage in the background. And like, you know, we're posted up right outside of Matt Marie's. We're posted right outside of John's Roast Pork. We're posted right outside of Delco's Steaks. Like, here we are, we're in Broomall, Pennsylvania. Or here we are, we're in South Philadelphia. And like, after like 3 or 4 videos of like a couple of us doing it, like, we all just started chiming in. Like, and at the time we had zero lingo. Right? We weren't the Samboners. We called a sandwich a Sambo. So it was like, yeah, I got a Sambo here from, you know, Bucks County, Silvio's Deli, Hatboro, PA. You know, it's got turkey, it's got cheese. Like, we're just like, and we became like, yeah, like, we're food reviewers. Like, yeah. Like,
all right, let me clarify a few things.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I only really started paying attention to the local content scene about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago when we opened NJ Content Studio. Started paying a lot more attention. So as far as I've really been looking, there's been endless cheesesteak reviewers.
Always.
Yeah, so you're saying about 5-6 years ago, the landscape was very different. Very few people on the ground, out front, stripped down, raw reviews. There wasn't
when
much
we went on the internet, there was zero.
And we're talking 5-6 years ago.
I'm talking across food reviewers throughout New York, California. I couldn't find one person standing in front of Angelo's Pizzeria with a phone.
Yeah.
Angelo's sign is behind us and us doing a review. There was one.
Man.
The nearest guy.
What were they doing?
The nearest guy that came close to doing what we were doing, and he does it very well to this day, was Dar, the food guru.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know him, but there was like,
oh, baby.
but like a year went by, and we saw him do like a review in his kitchen. I'm like, wow.
Was he doing it back then too?
No. I think he started like 2021, 22 maybe.
Okay.
But like, if he did a review of Danny's, Angelo's Pizzeria, like out of his kitchen, I'm like, oh, there's something similar to what we're doing.
Okay,
Oh,
so then
interesting.
you and your guys are like, we should do this, and then somebody just decided to go out there and actually did it.
Well,
who
here's-
was the first one? Was it you?
my buddy Kevin, my cousin Kevin, and
he posted it to the internet, and you guys all had a good laugh.
Here's kind of like, I think this is the origin of it, and some guys may argue that it's not, because a lot of this organic lingo that happened over these videos, we didn't really pick up on, like, why did he say that or why did he say that? But Kev, the one day, was walking into a place down in, I think it's Logan Square, called Matt Marie's, and he's just like, I want to kick this thing off, guys.
You're just like, fuck it.
Fuck it. Like, I don't know about you, but I got a big Samboner right now. And I'm like, what do you say? I got a what?
And like Samo.
And he had a boner
and he
off
had
of the
a boner 'cause of
sandwich.
the sandwich, and he's like, I got a big Samboner right now. I'm like, fucking awesome.
So nothing to do with Sam's Italian Market?
Nope.
Okay, because according to ChatGPT, or Gemini, the whole premise behind Samboners was Sam's Italian
They
Market.
wrote an article on us in the very, very beginning. And that place is very near and dear to me because I live right down the street from
Early
it.
article SEO.
There's a whole SEO
There's a
discussion.
You
but
SEO junkies, man.
We're
You
going to
gotta-
save that for another day. Yeah, it's funny.
Really,
Planets
really?
are
Yo, if you're
aligning.
planning on getting into this business, you might want to research their page prior to. I don't think ChatGPT or Gemini has a beat on social influencers.
They don't. Well, actually,
No, but that, I mean,
depends on-
kind of proving an hypothesis.
the more well-renowned and the more press out there that's indexed on a website, the more accurate it is.
That's it. But that's
But
relevant.
there's not a lot of that
Yeah.
press out there that AI is all wrong. It's
funny.
And, and for what it's worth, it's hard to research somebody by their feet alone because you got to go, I guess I got to go to the beginning.
It's awful.
And nobody's going to
It's
do
awful.
that.
Instagram has to come up with a way that
like-
can take you right to the beginning from the very start.
Or like give a bio.
You gotta, like,
or something.
scroll.
Because there's
Interesting.
oftentimes like, oh, I want to repost that. It's great, and then I got to.
You should be able to categorize
right.
by year, by month.
That's another great thing that we have the months. So when I do hashtags, I'll do like Burger Month, Irish Pub Month. And so if you go into Instagram and you hashtag Irish Pub Month, all our shit pops up.
Yeah, okay.
There's use case number one.
Yeah.
Are you
Anybody
I'm
over
sorry.
35 is that
And you guys said you're in the SEO business.
Yeah.
Wow, so hashtags become such an interesting.
All right, well,
now I want to go for you, Sam's Market.
Yeah, we
to
got
all of a sudden just and
No,
boner talk.
no. So listen,
Locker room talk.
let me.
I want to get this. I want to get the story straight.
Sure. Go ahead.
Samos, short for sandwich. You and your
Sambo.
boys text thread. I'm getting a Samo. I'm getting a Samo.
Sambo.
Oh, Sambo.
Sambo.
Gotcha. Sambo. Then your boy Kevin, was it?
Samboner.
Cousin.
Yep.
And he's like, guys, I got a huge Samboner right now.
Yeah.
Boom. Samboners was
And
born.
like Samboners was born, and it,
Full
like,
erection.
Or just half a chub. Which one was it?
Well, we did order 12 inches. We did. I think the one.
Don't want the guy that gets the six.
The one spot where we fouled, where I think we could have done better. My buddy Andrew actually said this at one point. He was like, "Dude, your scale should be on like the ruler, like because you're getting a 12-inch hoagie, so you should review it and rate it like 10.2 inches on the Samboner scale." And I'm like,
funny.
"We should have done that.
You still could.
We still could.
like
we
it.
still could. I mean,
I
this
like
isn't a
it.
kid's show by any means.
How many inches?
How many inches
How
on the
many inches?
Samboner
How many
scale?
inches do you give it? I'm giving that's a good.
That's probably why we're
the good old 15er.
Okay, so thanks for placating me. All right, so Kevin gets the Samboner. The sandwich is great.
a wicked
You guys start
chub.
posting content, and you're like, "Hey, we're into this."
So
And
we're not. So we're not posting content.
Yeah.
No, like this is like spring of 2019.
Yeah, okay,
and it's
gotcha.
a shame we didn't. It just wasn't like we all have jobs. We're all like some of us are in corporate, some of us
Right,
are working
right.
construction,
That
and
whole
like
thing.
we were just like, what are we doing? Like it was more just like we were having fun amongst friends.
Sure.
That said, we're essentially a pandemic story because it took something like that to push it out, and really it came down to like close family, close friends, realizing like, dude, you guys are having a lot of fun while everybody else is down and out. People are miserable. I don't know if they're going to keep their people were working from home. Like it was a weird time.
And you're growing the Samboner store. Like you registered
We're growing-
that. And
yeah, so we registered that. We put Instagram up.
And who's we? You and your co-founders.
yeah,
So
yeah.
who's your co-founder?
So it's my brother Joe, and then some of my best friends. Well, my cousin Kevin, and then some of our friends Pat Feely, and then Drew Dale and Mike Dale. are.
So all of you are in this together.
Yeah, 6 of us.
Wow.
We're the original Samboners.
The
Now,
original
those 5
Samboners.
left. Those 5 left me though. No, I'm just kidding. They're actually still like really near and dear. Like I run almost everything.
No
by
doubt.
them. Yeah, like they're like my. I don't know if they're my mentors, but they're
Advisory board.
They're an
board,
advisory
yeah,
board
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. The board of directors.
Yes.
The boner of directors.
I like the advisory board.
Yeah, there's a joke in there somewhere. What's the
Advisory
board of the
boner.
Samboners?
And like, you know, my buddy,
boner advisors.
like my buddy Pat, like it's a shame. Like, he's got to come back because he's one of the funniest human beings of all time. My brother's a natural Samboner like yourself, John. Yep. And you know, and
Natural boner. That's right.
But the cool part about
so
the
fun.
group is that everybody brought a different personality. And that's at the end of the day what it's all about. And I think that's what drove us to push this thing out there, you know, with the understanding that if we can get people to Sambone and get behind this and start growing a community, then maybe we got something. And that was the cool part about it.
So you said some really cool things over our lunch about who that community is, and a lot of it was news to me. So I didn't realize how much you focused on like family and familial relationships and kind of like who your tribe is. So who do you see as the Samboner tribe?
You know, I think at the end of the day, family is the most important thing, right? We as Samboners all have kids, right? My brother has 3 kids. I have 3 kids. My cousin Kevin has 3 kids. Pat has 3 kids. So amongst the 6 OG Samboners, we have 20 kids.
Cool.
And when we started this thing, they were involved. I mean, they were Samboning. They were taking our phone and grabbing our lunch and be like, I'm doing a review. And like, I come back to my phone and be like, holy shit, dude, this is gold. These kids are hilarious, right? As they grow up, though, they get a little bit more of a complex, like most of the other OG Samboners outside of me. But like, I still lean on like my younger daughter, Adeline, who gets up there with no fear and does a Samboner review. And it's fucking awesome, dude. It's cute, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, we started hearing stories where like, you know, Mick, we're having dinner amongst me, my wife, and my 4 kids, and I don't know, whatever the wife makes, let's just say it's like a chicken pot pie or whatever, everybody has to take a look, take a bite, and score it on the Samboner scale, on the roller. No. But like
6 inches.
the kids are into it. And then to this day, fast forward 5-6 years, like I'll be walking down Sea Isle by the park and 8-year-old kids are playing hoops going, yo, Samboner! Like 8-year-old kids are yelling Samboner.
That's
so
incredible.
like it's nuts.
Nice.
It's nuts. And it's awesome because now you're starting to even see like other groups of younger kids. Like there's a group out there, shout out Philly Cravings, Pat Mink and his crew. They're 22 years old and they're just fucking getting after it, but they're having fun. Right? They're showcasing good places. They're showcasing good camaraderie amongst all their friends. Their friends are chiming in from San Diego, Tuscaloosa. I mean, even like just other Samboners outside of the Philly Cravings. People are fucking going on vacation and popping in Samboner reviews.
Samboning around the nation.
Samboning around the nation.
So explain this for the audience, or maybe even Steven, and I got the lowdown over lunch, but like, this is unique. No other food review has this dispersed tribe of people that aren't even officially part of it, that are contributing content as a collab. That's what you have going on here, right?
100%.
A lot of these people
don't
even know them.
I don't.
You have an open source network.
I don't. And the cool part about
Pretty
it
cool.
is when you do get to meet them, right? You know, so like, you know, we could talk about Carangi when I had the opportunity to go down there and work.
Yeah.
When you're like in the flesh, Samboning, and then like people are coming into your shop and you're getting them.
That is a verb?
Oh, it's killing it, dude. It's the greatest name of all time.
It is a noun. It's a verb.
Yeah, it's everything, bro. We got them all covered.
It's
You got
in
it.
the flesh.
It's
You
gonna be
got
part
it,
of the
dude.
lexicon.
You got it,
Honestly,
man.
I want to give you a Sharpie.
You
I want
got
you to
it.
write it on one of our walls.
You got to appreciate it, man. There's you know, there's people out there that don't. It's those
Samboners through
Samboners
life.
is not for everybody. It really is not. But you know, if you're a dude that's down to earth, likes to embrace the fun debate around food, sports, loves to go watch Birds games on Sundays, loves to be around their family, loves to just like eat food, get after it, and just like shoot the shit and just have fun with life.
Mainly male. Like, what about women? What about chicks?
Oh, chicks are all about absolutely.
I bet they are definitely Samboning.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have probably a good 1,000 T-shirts on the street right now.
Yeah.
And I'll send them. People that Sambone, I'll also send their wife a Samboner.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
And
bet they
I'll
love
also
it.
say like, I'm not, is this PG show or what? Because
No,
like, if you
far
can't get
from
laid with a Samboner t-shirt on, take it off and send it back.
Chick magnet, huh? Certified chick magnet. Say on the back.
It is.
12 out of 12 inches.
Chick magnet. Shits are fly too.
But you know what? So I actually, it's so hard to avoid the jokes, by the way. So
I know.
Let it rip.
Here's a
Let it
Kristen.
rip.
But
Sirius XM's knocking, right?
there's something about this that is super appealing to me because, as I said a couple times, I don't really want to do full-time food reviews, but I love dabbling. I like to dabble in it. And like, this is kind of the perfect solution. I said to the bar, I was like, I think I'm going to do some Sambonin content because I can just dip my toe in the water, do a food review today, and maybe not another one for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then 2.5 years later, I could do 5 in a row over 5 weeks,
Yeah.
and then never again. And it's just, I can have a little fun. And you serve, at risk of stating the obvious, as the distribution audience. So I don't need to build my following. I can do a food review, get it out there, at least 30,000
And
followers.
I can help you grow. You can help me grow.
I love it.
As the great Bob Dylan says.
So,
Everybody must Sambone.
yeah, that's right.
So the whole open source decision, how did that happen?
Hold on, that's a big word. Open source.
Like, open it up to everybody.
Yeah, like open it up to everyone. Like, where was
yeah.
that decision? Like, why?
That was from the very beginning because we created something that had like the noun, the verb, the adjective, this lingo. Sambonin is an experience. Take a look, take a bite, the tagline. Like we had this whole package. We're like, fuck, man. Like, what did we create? This is nuts. This is a wild little thing that we created among 6 of us. You know, and with respect, again, like not to hone in on the pandemic, because I even hate seeing like videos of me wearing a mask. It's like I don't even post that old shit because I hated that. But like,
I bet.
you know, we were in a situation where businesses were dying on a vine.
Yeah.
And this whole like go out to eat or be 6 feet apart from people, you know, like, what are we going to do? Watch all these small businesses just like roll up and fold? Well, we have a product that not only can we help them, if we can get people to get behind it, we can get other people out there Sambonin and supporting all their local
groundswell.
spots.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People are like, you got to get here, you got to get here, you got to get here, you got to get here. Do you know how many fucking small towns and small sandwich shops, bars, dive bars, restaurants there are? Like, I mean, there's 5, 6, 7,000. There are so many places. But if you can build a following in Delaware County, a following in Montgomery County, Bucks County, Chester County, New Jersey, South Jersey, down the shore, which is happening. I mean, now it's got to a point where not only are they Samboning in their just general neighborhoods, they're going on vacation, and we're dropping pins in like the St. Pete's of the world because they want to, and that shit is
Because they want to, right? That's the brand. That's the groundswell. That's it.
Samboners,
right
man.
Yeah.
Dude, over the weekend there was a guy, a regular just fan of the page who I've met before, Sambonin, and he got a shout out of another guy like, yo, you're a Samboner. He's like, yeah, I'm a Samboner too.
It's almost like the chive. You familiar with the
Samboners.
chive?
I know the jive.
Yeah, like you gotta keep calm and chive on. They built that little tribe too. That if you start seeing people with that sticker, you start seeing that Bill Murray T-shirt that they circulated.
I don't know. Like, Tribe's a good one. Like, I just was watching like some documentaries around like Bob Dylan and all that. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like this is a feel good product, man. Like, it's all about like just spreading good energy and just like really showcasing Philadelphia as one of the greatest cities of all time.
Yeah,
Keeping it
that's
real,
great.
man.
That's fucking great.
Absolutely.
So
Sambonin.
Nick surprised me by saying that he's doing this full time now.
Word.
And if we know that, we would have just set
Full-time
this up formally as a
creator.
creator show episode. So I think we're kind of like backdooring into it. Yeah.
We're Sambonin into it.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to set this up a little bit because you touched on something else over our lunch that I thought was extremely poignant and has been an observation I've pulled out of our food creator interviews. There's different ways to skin the cat, but I think there's really 2 primary models. And I think one is much better than the other. One model is you primarily sustain the business by charging the restaurants. And that's what you do. You charge the restaurants, you make a little money, and hopefully you help each other grow. And that's one model. I think the far superior model, and frankly, the much more successful food influencers we've talked to, it's a different model. The reviews are generally, if not always, for free. And they just kind of take it on the chin for a while, do it organically. And when I say take it on the chin, I mean they don't monetize until the point where they're big enough that they can go to a sponsor not a restaurant, but like a CPG product or a service or whatever
brand
it is,
deals.
and say, I'm X amount of thousands of dollars to talk about your.
Yeah.
Now, the one is instant gratification because you charge the restaurant, you get money immediately. But with a little patience and fortitude and commitment, you make your way to the better model, which is I just do classic sponsorship.
Yeah.
So you're sustained through sponsorships.
100%. Yeah.
And you've got some pretty big ones.
I have 3 significant ones.
Are you able to talk about them at all?
And talk about taking it on the chin. You said it.
Yeah.
I took it on the chin.
Yeah.
I took it on the chin.
For years.
For 2 or 3 years. And I got to a point where I almost thought I'd had to go back into corporate.
Right.
But the page is still alive and well. It's just, it's a challenge, man. Instagram and social media.
The grind.
We're still trying to figure it out, right?
It changes every day. The goalposts are always moving.
Yeah, it really is challenging. But I was fortunate enough to catch my first break with the bakery down in Philadelphia, an iconic South Philly bakery called Carangi Bakery, which, in a short time after a small little contract where I was able to help build their brand up, increase some of their sales. I also just fell in love with just being in South Philly. I love being in the bread industry. I love being in the kind of the whole network of small businesses and being able to serve not only just like one shop, but I was working with 80 to 100 shops, and we were hustling, man. We were hustling our balls off. And that turned into me becoming like the general manager. And then fast forward, I had an opportunity to invest into Carangi. Carangi 2.0 is unfortunately under construction right now. They did have a significant loss in December of 2024. There was a house fire, and it's just been a grind getting it back open. But we are moving into a bigger space, and there's some greater opportunities to come. So I am part of that. In addition to Carangi, I've been fortunate enough to be working with a startup sports betting application called BTA Sports. BTA Sports is all about leveraging AI and all of that machine learning that goes into dissecting games and handicapping games.
Oh,
but
nice.
via their model, there's a way where we can kind of, look at that model, look at Vegas, and really try to uncover like the differences, the variances. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's an app to make you make smarter bets. And that's got a massive amount of potential and a lot of steam as we kind of, get ready for MLB. They just rolled out their MLB application, which is like their 2.0 version. So everything's ready, locked and loaded. And there's users out there, and it's growing, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun talking about it. It's a lot of fun being a part of their team. And these guys are fucking in it to win it, and it's just exciting. And then last but not least, I'm working with a major food distribution company called Foods Galore. They serve the entire East Coast, up and down. This is a family-run company. Guys that have been wearing Foods Galore logo on their sleeve for the last 35 years. And, I become part of this like nest of just great guys where, I help them with their food show every year. One's coming up on April 21st. That's an event. 2 times a year they run a big event. They have like over 200 suppliers.
Oh, wow.
All these different customers, prospective customers. But like, so the Sambonin thing, like you said, I could have went out there and I could have taken that angle. I've always tried to build long-term relationships and try to find as much value as I can in those relationships. And at the end of the day, I'm hopefully like when I'm Sambonin with my tighty whities on 50 years from now, I still have these relationships, right?
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. But this thing ain't going away, man.
Those are some incredible.
Awesome Sambonin from my lazy boy when I'm 90 years old.
Those are some, incredible sponsorships and brand deals. What is the combined audience like per channel? What does like your podcast distribution look like?
What do you
mean? I
mean?
know you have the Instagram, but what other channels are there?
Yeah, so I had not really got into the whole leverage of the channels. And the podcast was on YouTube. I'm spinning that back up again as we speak. I really am just really setting the podcast up so I can have like more interviews and kind of get people on the phone and just like chop it up. We can. I'm not going to like spend too much time on it, thinking about it, because I really do unfortunately think that like it's a tough little racket, right? When you got guys like Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey just like dominating the world, it's like holy shit, man. But like that said, it's still fun. It's good. It's just healthy. It's
good networking.
Oh, this is great. This is healthy conversation, and I love doing that. But my primary channel, Steve, is Instagram.
That's it. Wow.
And then I'm on TikTok, but that I've had multiple people tell me to jump off a bridge, and I hope you don't.
More on TikTok.
TikTok's like death thret central. It's like Jesus Christmas,
Well,
and
what
I'm
do
on
you do when you
Facebook
get
too. I
death
can't grow
threats?
Facebook, but like I'm not. Let me get this straight. Like I don't really look at myself like a creator. Like
Okay.
I really don't. Like I'm kind of like just a realist. I really just like my content, whether it goes off or it doesn't, happens right here, 35, 45 seconds, bang, send, see you tomorrow. I don't have time to like go back to an editing desk. I don't have time to like put features behind it. And maybe I should. And maybe I'm doing myself a disservice.
Maybe eventually you will.
And maybe eventually I will. Right. But right now I have a lot of focus on things. I've had this just like day by day, little by little approach. Right. And I know wholeheartedly I'm not running a sprint. This is a marathon. And you know, just the way that the community has been able to embrace and get behind, you know, what we created is insane, man. Like, you know, I went to a place yesterday and it's like within 10 minutes of being there, like 3 or 4 people come up to you and just like, what you're doing is awesome. And it's like, hi. Thank you, man. Like, it's crazy.
Well, there's several lessons that I think aspiring or startup creators can take from that. One is that when you have a different way to make money, I'm saying like you had a job or, you know, you were monetizing through other things you were doing. You weren't reliant on income from either the restaurants or the creator stuff. It allows you to go at it with more ease and be more authentic than trying to force it to grow the following fast, right?
Long game. You know,
building a brand, that's building a business,
and that's
right?
and
it's
that's
not going to be
let
built
me get that
overnight.
straight though. Like, I'm not the Samboners. I might be the face of it, but the Samboners is a brand.
That's
It's a Philly thing, right? And the cool part about it is that like you people that live in California that grew up in Philly, or people that live in Florida that grew up in Philly, the Samboners ties them back. Like, oh my God, man, this makes me feel like I'm still home.
That's it.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention is the ease, the way you insist that the content is easy for you to create. We talked about this at the bar a little bit. That's huge because if it's too much of a drain on your time or your pocketbook, you start to get away from it and then you're not going to continue. If you can't churn it out relatively quickly, it's just not going to last.
That's the X factor we're solving for.
Yeah, for sure. Constantly. Every day.
It's a grind.
How do we do?
And we have other things going on and there's a ton of other shit.
How do we do more faster with still
less.
good output? Yeah, with less input, high output. And you've been saying all day, like, I just want to do it quick. I just want to do it fast. Not a lot of doctoring, not a lot of editing. Boom, boom, boom. It's done.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, key to your success. That's why you're able to go for 5-6 years.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of on just like my own little journey. I don't have to pop up every Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, and just say, "Hey, everybody, like this is what's going to be today." Although I'm pretty, relevant.
You have the community that powers it, right? Like
absolutely,
that helps.
Absolutely,
that helps a lot.
But
That's populating.
People love like. I check in, man. Like I had to go down to my shore house in Sea Isle last night to pick up some things. And, I'll pop a little quick video in to show people that I'm in Sea Isle and it's absolutely dead. But people will be like, oh, I can't wait, man. 8 weeks from now, we're going to be at the right. It's just, you got to be relatable, So again, like we've built a community that's growing and it's people, it's very similar. Like the people that you are surrounded by are people that like you want to be surrounded by. Right. And I was saying this to John at lunch, like it's not for everybody. Like, and you were bringing up your buddy PJ. I'm sure PJ is a great guy, but like, I don't know PJ. Like, so I'm sure he's got a great following, but like, I guarantee you, like 95% of his following doesn't follow Samboners.
Well, that's the thing about, and people gravitate to an individual.
Yeah. It's just different. Right. And there's a ton of people. We brought up Dar earlier. Like he's got a great following. His following doesn't probably point to the Samboners. My following doesn't point to his, right? So it's community based, and like look at like Joe Perry, like he's got a community,
Yep.
He's kind of grabbed South Philly by the balls, and he's got people coming in there doing food reviews, and they have latched on to the way he's been able to market Skinny Joey's.
But to your point, and it's a great one. Joe has a huge, awesome following. What he's doing with Skinny Joe's is great. But there's plenty of people out there in this area that are looking for a different flavor of personality to follow.
Correct.
Right? And so I think Dar's a good kind of contrast. There's probably not a massive overlap, between Joe and Dar's following. Take a very different approach, very different personality.
Yeah.
And you either like one or you don't, because they're both polarizing in their own way.
Right.
But if they're authentic to themselves, then that's the point.
That's
how you attract your people.
It's another great layer you're adding on there. This idea of like, because they're both so authentic and not afraid to upset people, it helps them kind of have a dividing line of like, this is my tribe. and you're not, and that's okay.
Right.
And these people like me that much more because I say what I say, and I mean what I say, and that's
the best advice that I can give, and people have given it to me before, if you don't like somebody, don't follow them.
Right. Concept.
Just don't follow them. You want to bitch and complain about this dude, but you follow him.
Well, people are a gluttony for pain, aren't they? Right.
Well, and it goes back to yet another constant recurring theme, which is like, ironically, everybody's individual personality is their secret weapon. And every time I say it, I qualify it by saying, like, it sounds like hokey bullshit. Your personality is your secret weapon and just be you. But actually, the more authentic you are, the more people are like, I gravitate to that personality or I don't. And that's how you build that tribe. And that's why there's plenty of room for everybody.
Well, and when you think about it, I forget the author of it, but he wrote 1,000 True Fans. He says you really only need 1,000 true fans, 1,000 people who will buy anything that you put out there, right? And 1,000 is an arbitrary number. It could be 33,000. It could be 100,000. Whatever that number is, that's really all you need. You don't need fucking millions.
Yeah, well, now you got a good point too, right? But like that, and I sometimes I beat myself up too because the algorithms and whatnot are like, at the end of the day, like we have a brand, we have a community, and there's other influencers out there that have millions and millions of followers, or let's just say 200,000 followers. Some may argue that the 30,000 that we have is stronger than that.
Let me ask you this question. John knows where I'm going. Do you have an email list?
Do I have an email list?
Yeah, are you collecting emails or any other information on these followers? So if Instagram shut down tonight, what would you do?
I'd go work at the bakery.
we're going to get to that bakery next.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, but that's the number one reason why I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
And it's tangible.
Yeah.
And it's still an opportunity to bring people together. And
it's communal. Bread's fucking communal.
And it's real. I mean, you're touching things, you're involved with other businesses, you're still creating awesome relationships. Guys, I'm an old soul. I fucking hate iPhones. I really do.
It's the big irony for a lot of content.
I'm at a dance competition the other day, and I'm in the lobby talking to a friend, and we're both sitting there observing, and all 30 people that were sitting around, all 30 people were staring at their phone. None of them were, not one person was talking to the person next to them.
Yeah.
So like, again, I people give me a hard time because they think I'm an old head, but like, I really wish, like, I'm fortunate, man. I grew up, with a wiffle ball bat in my hand, a stickball bat in my hand. And I was just like, a lone wolf at 6 years old, being able to go up to the youth center and just wreak havoc without my parents caring.
Yeah, the good
They
old
trusted me to
days.
do that. Right now, that ain't happening.
No, you're not sending your kids somewhere.
No.
I'm not, at least. I don't trust anyone.
I want to dig into Carangi's. We'll probably segment it out. But before we do, anything else on the email approach?
I can go 1,000 ways, but no, let's go to Carangi's.
Okay. Mickey, Samboners, we are talking about Carangi's. You're deeply involved with the organization. Looks like you're in a position to be heavily involved with Carangi's. Yeah. But give us the regroup if you could. How did that partnership start in the first place?
Yeah, so it's interesting. The second owner, so the original owner, Lou Carangi, who started that place back in the 80s, maybe even prior, was serving bread to the potential new owner who owned multiple cheesesteak spots throughout Philadelphia, Delco Steaks, to be exact.
Okay.
And, they were buying so much bread from them and coming down every single day from Delaware County into South Philly, getting that bread to the point where it's like, hey, if you ever look to sell, I'll buy the place, right? So that owner, I think, had ownership for, over about a year and a half. He unfortunately went through a situation at home with his family. I'm not going to get into details, but, when he decided to finally, let's try to get this thing going again. Let's try to get this brand going. He came across me. I was actually interviewing Danny from Angelo's and Joey DeNix from DeNix. The three of us were up in Danny's platform or his little loft.
Literally upstairs at Angelo's.
Yeah, just shooting the shit.
Doing a podcast.
Yeah. So I'm doing a podcast and the conversation
Remote. I love that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the conversation came up about like being a jobber. Like Danny from Angelo's was a jobber. A jobber is essentially a broker of bread, right? So you go out to a customer, let's just say Kid Rips. Hey, Kid Rips, I can get you Lycios, I can get you Verse, I can get you Amorosa, I can get you Carangi, I can get you Sarcones. So he was pushing bread. And I'm like, I never heard that term before. Jobber.
That's great.
So we clipped the reel out of we clipped the reel out of the podcast. And I posted it on the internet as a reel, and the owner of Carangi, gentleman by the name of Nicholas Reynolds, wrote something in the comments about like, hey, we're looking for people. Give us a call. And that's his number and the thing, and
They were looking for a jobber? Or?
I don't know what they were looking for, but Samboners Mick.
Classic South Philly. Yeah, I need some people. I need some people.
But this guy right here was, I was at a tough spot. I was getting ready to go back into corporate. This opportunity.
I didn't want to.
I didn't want to. And I thought maybe this was like a job for like somebody right out of college. But I called the number and he was like, look, we're looking for somebody to like, help grow our sales, grow our brand. We love what you do on the internet. Let's get behind it. Let's get.
So he put his phone number in the comment, but it was really geared towards you to call him.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was calling. It was a calling.
So
I met the guy for lunch. We hit it off. We met again. We hit it off again. And then, we signed a deal to the point where like after that deal expired, it was like, dude, I found home here. I love it here. Like this is what it's all about. And, we were hitting it off and we just started really doing some awesome things throughout the community. We changed the bakery at one point into a little speakeasy for cheesesteaks.
Oh, fun.
We were turning heads, man, between like 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Pop-ups.
We made up a little pop-up cheesesteak hut. And to the point where everybody in the community, like Carangi's right on Oregon Avenue and Eisminger, 2 blocks off of Broad. Literally, like you could see skinnies from it now. But like, all these cronies were coming in and everybody were like, Carangi's making cheesesteaks. We're talking like some of the best authentic Italian bread, fresh out of the oven, slapping 10 ounces of like the best ribeye you could possibly get, the Cooper Sharp, unprocessed. Like, dude, it was. Look, people don't know it, but it was like the best cheesesteak you could ever eat in your life.
During off hours. You were saying that the making of the
during
bread
off hours,
is like from what was it?
That's
6,
a
7
morning
at night,
thing, right?
Overnight.
No, they start at like 5 o'clock. They start taking the orders in. They start making the list of how many rolls are going to go out that day. So so from 5 o'clock p.m. till I would say like 9, 10. But we blew out of our shoes, man. We had places we were growing accounts from 8 dozen rolls a day to 60 dozen rolls.
So it was a
day.
huge success, your pop-up cheesesteak.
Huge success. And unfortunately they had a fire in December.
Right.
Yeah, in 24. 24. They had a fire and we've been closed ever since. And we have a new space that's been identified and we're under construction.
Wow. Now, the Carangi name has been around for decades.
Yeah.
And is one of the signature bread makers in this area that's known for bread.
Yes.
Right? So it's like Sarcones, Samoroso,
I mean, before
Carangi.
you put it this way, before Angelo's came onto the scene, when you thought of Philadelphia and who is like the most iconic cheesesteak all throughout Philadelphia, you thought of John's Roast Pork.
Right.
And that's who Carangi was serving. For those 30 years of the Carangi 1.0, if you will, I like to call it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what put John's Roast Pork on the map, is because it was the most authentic cheesesteak that you could possibly eat. Thanks to the real bread seeded roll.
Seeded roll.
Yeah.
I mean,
unseeded too.
Are you guys, is Carangi the originator of the seeded roll as far as cheesesteaks go? Or was that like a thing before you guys?
Now that's a stumper.
I'm a seeded roll junkie.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, the
these days.
standard now is the seeded roll with the Cooper Sharp.
I grew up with the seeded roll.
Yeah. I personally still like the traditional non-seeded American cheese, like pizza steak.
Do ya?
Ketchup, salt, pepper. Yeah, why not, man?
Wait, pizza steak with ketchup?
No, like from a pizza shop.
Oh, gotcha.
Like a traditional cheesesteak.
Yeah,
You doctor
yeah.
up a little ketchup, mayo, I'm in.
Yeah.
Nostalgia once
I'm
again.
different,
You're an
though.
old
I'm
soul.
different.
You're an old soul.
But no, now it's become the standard. So, you had like Angelo's, right?
Yeah.
That really kind of pioneered the whole seeded roll with the Cooper Sharp. But then you also had a place that I think they were best in Philly in 2020 was Delco Steaks. They did the seeded roll via Carangi and the Cooper Sharp. So between like JRP, Angelo's, and Delco Steaks, they're your three, like, I would say, your Mount Rushmore of seeded roll, Cooper Sharp concept.
Now that you're in the trenches,
I'm in the fucking trenches, dude. You want to talk cheesesteaks? I'll tell you what's going on.
I want to talk bread just a little bit more. So is it the water? What is it that makes the bread?
I wholeheartedly believe
roll?
it's the water. And we had a conversation in the podcast with Danny and Joey, and we talked about the water, and they begged to differ. And I said to myself, well, then why aren't you doing cheesesteaks in California or Los Angeles? Because at the end of the day, the only companies that are really transporting bread all over the country are Liscios and Amoroso. And that, unfortunately, is not the most authentic bread. Right. It's good bread. It's bread. I mean, it does the trick. There's places out there surviving off it, but that's got shelf life. Bread like that has 2, 3, 4 weeks of shelf life. Bread like Carangi, bread like Sarcones, bread like Kasha, 3 of the most iconic South Philly bakeries are only basically baking bread to serve you that day.
Yeah.
12 hours, it's always
style.
starting to die. But that's the beautiful part about authentic bread, dude. It doesn't stick to you. It doesn't stay on you.
That's right.
It makes you feel good. I was losing weight eating that bread.
Yeah, at least not feeling like shit.
No, I'm telling you, it's 1,000%, man. I was eating that bread every day, not, I didn't even feel it.
All right. Well, thanks.
But I'm also like, I'm biased in a way, but I'm also now knowledgeable, right? No, not many people are as knowledgeable.
Well, what about the recipes? Is there something special about the recipe? Does it go back to a certain area? Is it?
Let's just put it this way: it's a whole lot of love.
How many inches?